Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for our clients in Florida and New York, and of course, sharing information worldwide. Today, I want to talk about 5 ways that organizations have gone wrong when it comes to diversity and inclusion. Over the last few months, we know a lot have been going on, and many organizations have made those vows to do something. And many organizations have attempted to do something. But today we want to talk about 5 ways that organizations have gone wrong so that hopefully, with that knowledge, they can start to go right. Actually, I'll post that video too. But before we get into that, I want to take a quick moment and say if you are subscribed, thank you so very much. If you are not yet subscribed, please take a moment and click the subscribe button below so that you can become a subscriber. And remember to tick the bell so that when I post new videos, you can be notified so that you can come and watch with me. And of course, if you'd like to purchase 1 or 3 of my books, there's also a link below that will take you to a website that shows you all the many different places, different options you have for purchasing 1 or 3 of my books. Okay, let's get back to it. First, they've many organizations treats diversity and inclusion as something extra that they do. It's not necessarily a part of them. It's an extra thing, that thing that they do, that extra thing, that way that they go above and beyond. But the reality is, diversity should not be an extra thing that we're doing. Diversity should be a part of the organization. And a lot of times, when organizations engage or when they do these things that they do for diversity, they sometimes the black people, the other people of color who are in the organizations, or the people that whose diversity is being celebrated, are made to feel like, hey, look, we're doing this for you. This diversity stuff, we're doing that to help you. This is your thing. This is your diversity. That's your thing. No, it's not an extra. It's a part of what the organization should be doing because the organization exists in a diverse community. The organization is serving a diverse community. The organization is supported by a diverse community. The employees, the people within that organization represent this diverse community, or at least they should. We hope that they represent the diverse community. So, diversity is not an extra, it's a part of everyday operation. Everything, whatever the organization is doing, whether we're looking at the health plans, whether we're looking at employee bonuses, employee celebrations, how we acknowledge employees, what we do for our employees, or how we do our marketing, how we do whatever the organization is doing, diversity should be a part of it because whatever the organization is doing is going to be received, is going to be coming out to a diverse community. It's not an extra. It's a part. It's the. It's not even the least that organizations could do. It's something that organizations need to be doing. And no, you're not doing us a favor when you have your diversity day. It's something you should have been doing already. 2, they hire a black person to run their diversity or their inclusion program, and that's it. When you hire that black person to do whatever you want to do with diversity, do whatever it is that you want to do with inclusion, when you hire a black person to do it and just call it a day, that person has a mountain to climb backwards because every time that person comes out, it's like, oh, there she goes again. There goes black, black, black. It's all about black people, women, women, women. It's not taken as seriously as when the whole organization is involved. It's not taken as seriously when the leadership of the organization is involved. In order to really truly create buy-in when it comes to diversity, when it comes to inclusion, it's not something that hiring a black person to run this program is going to achieve. Yes, that having that black person there will help the organization have a better understanding, will help steer the organization in a better place when it comes to what they're doing with diversity and inclusion. But in order for it to really take place, in order for it to really be effective, it's going to require an investment from the leadership. It's going to require an investment from the organization, which means that you don't just get to hire that Black person to run it and just say, hey, yeah, we hired a Black person. We have a chief of diversity. It's done. No. Hiring someone to handle it or hiring someone to help with it is only the beginning. Taking care of making sure that you are participating, that you are giving them the resources, that you are, that you are nurturing whatever programs, whatever they're instituting. That is how you go right. Hiring the person, step 1. 3, treating diversity as something that the frontline workers or the people on the lower rungs of the corporate ladder need. There's a saying, I don't really recall the saying, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when I say, as the head goes, so does the organization. If the leadership of the organization is not invested in diversity, then it makes sense that the rest of the organization is not going to be invested. Because if I can see that, hey, yeah, we talk about diversity, we do XYZ, but the leadership, it's not for the leadership. It's only for the frontline workers. It's only for the people that are dealing with the customers. This means that the organization is really not all that invested in diversity. They're just doing it because, maybe it's a law somewhere that you have to do this. Maybe it's a rule that you have to do that. Maybe it's a HR requirement that they're making us do this diversity training. But when they see the investments and that the leadership of the organization is participating, this says, hey, this is something that's organization wise. This is something that we all need to focus on. When we go to this diversity training and we see that the leadership of the organization is right there with us, then it says, oh, maybe I should pay attention. Maybe this is something we're serious about. But if you're just doing it and having frontline workers, the people on the lower rungs of the corporate ladder are the only ones that are being told or being talked, being engaged in diversity or in anything relating to diversity, then it's less likely that it's going to be any part of the organization that's going to make too much of a difference, because it's not an organizational culture. It's not a part of the organization. It's just something we're doing right now because, whatever. 4, they are reactive about it. Very often, organizations talk about diversity in their employee handbook. When you first get hired, you go through your orientation. Yes, they mention diversity, but you never really hear anything about it again until something big is going on. Instead of being so reactive about it, take the time and be more proactive. When the organization is reactive, it tells the people, hey, it's okay. We can just do whatever. It's business as usual. Just keep going. Just keep doing whatever we've been doing. And of course, if something happens, there's an issue, then the organization is running behind the 8 ball. But it should not be that you're running behind the 8 ball. You should be ahead of the ball. You should be taking care of addressing and dealing with issues of diversity every single day, because you exist in a diverse community. When the organization is reactive about it, you're opening yourself to the opportunity you're opening yourself to the risk of doing things that will land you in hot water. But even worse than landing you in hot water, you're creating a situation where the organization can or will likely may do things that will hurt other people. And that is something we should definitely be paying attention to. It's not just that when something happens, the organization is in hot water, the organization faces all sorts of backlash. When something happens, you hurt people. People are hurt. People are genuinely hurt by these gaffes that keep happening. So being reactive allows you to, or puts you at risk of engaging in things that will hurt other people, employees, customers, other people you may care about. Then again, maybe not. 5, thinking that it's an issue for minorities or people of color and not them or not me. It's for the Black people, it's for the Hispanics, it's for the whomever. Diversity is not a minority issue. The reality is, In order for this country, this society, this nation to really get right with diversity, it's going to take a major action. It's going to take a major investment from non-minorities. Black people can't do the work by themselves. You can bring every Asian person that in this country together. They can't do it by themselves. Diversity is something that is handled as a community that we all need to invest in, that we all need to take the steps to make happen. So it's not a minority issue. It's not a people of color issue. It's a societal issue. It's an organizational issue. It's something that we as a community, as a society, that every single organization, every member of the organization needs to be dealing with. Because one of the things that we often talk about is the role that white people play in ending racism. Usually we hear a lot of black communities, black organizations talking about racism, talking about the importance of ending racism. But if you really look at it, in order for us to really be able to get the things we want done, we need everyone, all hands on deck. We need the people who say the white people who say that they're allies, the white people who say they believe in diversity, the white people who say they support or what we're asking for. They support our equity. They support equity. They support equality. We need those people too. And just as we need them in society, we need them in organizations. As a leader of an organization, especially, you cannot leave diversity to the Black people. Diversity needs to be a organizational thing. It needs to be a leadership thing because it's the leader who will set the tone of how the organization deals with, believes, and interacts or does anything when it comes to diversity. Okay, so quick recap. One, organizations often treat diversity as an extra that they do, as opposed to a part of the organization. It's not extra. It's not even the least you could do. It's something you should be doing. Two, they hire a Black person to handle diversity or diversity related issues, and then that's it. No, hiring one person, that's barely step one. That person is going to need support and investment in the organization, in the leadership of the organization for anything to really happen, for anything to really get done right. So it's great that you hired that one person, that one Black person to handle or run your diversity program, but they need the support of the organization. They need the investment from the leaders of the organization. Three, too many times organizations treat diversity as something for the lower rung of the corporate ladder and the frontline workers. No, leaders of the organization set the tone of the organization. It's not just the people at the front line, it's everyone at the organization who should be investing, who should be looking, who should be working towards a more inclusive, a more welcoming community, organization, whatever you guys call yourselves. Or organizations are too often reactive. Instead of being reactive, take the time to be more proactive. Because when you are reactive, not only do you land in hot water, you also hurt other people when the situations take place. Being proactive will reduce your risk of or your exposure to getting in hot water, but it also reduces the likelihood that you will do things that will hurt people, that you will do things that will hurt communities. So consider a more proactive approach. 5, they think it's an issue that people of color and minorities need to deal with and not them. There's no such thing. We're all in one community. We're all in one society. Or your organization exists in a diverse community. In order for anything to happen with diversity, with inclusion, with anything, we need all hands on deck. So that means regardless of what white, black, purple, green, or orange, whatever you are part of the problem and you are part of the solution. You're a part, as long as you're a part of the society, you are needed to resolve this issue. As always, if you or someone you know happens to be going through something that's more than you can handle, Please remember that there are professionals like myself who are available, able, and willing to provide assistance and are even providing remote services to help. So please figure out who those people are in your community so that if you need the help, you can reach out and get the help that you need. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, worlds. Have an awesome day.